I need to learn how to read from a file. So once I open the file, what do I do next? There are a few ways to do this, okay? And there are two basic file methods that I want to teach you. The first is the read method. If I go myfile.read, it will, and this would be the file object, the file variable name that I just showed you, .read, it will take the entire contents of that file and put them into a variable. It will be a string because it's a text file that I'm reading. So we'll read them in. This string will now contain everything that's in that file. Another option is if I give read an argument, it takes an integer, it will read the first 10 characters of that file. Not 10 lines, 10 characters. Okay, so if I want to do that, I can do that. I can also read the file one line at a time. This one's particularly useful if you're working with data files like the one I'm using today. In this case, I can read that file one line at a time. Okay? So what I want to do is show you the difference between these. So I no longer need this print because I don't need to print out the information about the file. Equals my file dot read. Okay, that doesn't need any arguments. The default is read the whole thing. So now if I want to print that out, I can do that. Okay, and there are the contents of that text file printed out. Now, if I do something like this, okay, if I do something like this where I take that file, that string with the contents of the file, and I split it on the new line character, then I print it out as a list. Now I've got each line of that file as a list. Okay, and now I can iterate through that in li lines, str line. Okay, so now there's the list, and I can print these out one line at a time, but I can also take this, li line equals, this is a singular line, each line as a list equals str line dot split, and I can split on the 3 pipe characters, print li line. Okay, so now I've got this data from the file, and it's starting to look like something I can work with. And if I wanted to, I could change that into a dictionary so that I can access those by the key, first name, last name, whatever I assign to them. And if I want to take that information when I'm done working with it and save it back to the file, then I'm just going to have to glue it back together in reverse. I just reverse these steps. So instead of splitting, I glue it back together with this using join, and then I glue the lines back together with that character using join. It's just the reverse of it. So that is a way that you can do that. It's not always the most efficient way. Okay? If I want to do read line, what I can do, is I can do one line at a time. Read line. And if I want to print that, then I can access one line at a time. The nice thing about that is that my file, that object, actually has something in it called a pointer. So if I read one line and then I just repeat this code again after that, it'll keep track of which line I'm on, and then I can just print. Then next time I read line, it'll read the second line. If I read the line again, it'll read the third line. So it'll keep track of those lines and read them one at a time if I want to. So readline has that built-in capability of that pointer that keeps track of which line it's on.